to get to Dr. Wily and bring it into this series. Base and I are going to have to go through everyone. That's just fine by me. After all, this game has been much more friendly to Base than it has the Blue Bomber. So let's just grab these little weapon pellets and get this show on the road. First up is Cold Man. He was originally designed to literally be Dr. Light's refrigerator. A scientific refrigerator used to preserve dinosaur DNA at temperatures nearing absolute zero. That's pretty cold, man. Anyway, once King modified him, he went from absolute zero temperatures to nearly absolute zero challenge. Yeah, he's definitely one of the easiest robot masters in the entire series to me, let alone the easiest of this batch. The interesting thing here is that Lightning Bolt, you will not have enough ammo to finish him off if you don't have the energy saver on. It only does 3 bars of damage. Now, after each and every boss, we're going to have to go through a subsection, whereas Mega would have to wait for many of these, or use his tools. Base can just simply put his old dash double jump combo to good work again. What else is new? Astro Man's up next, and he was originally designed to work inside of a planetarium. He was able to somehow psychically or hypnotically project an image into someone's mind. This would make the shows inside the planetarium better. I have no idea how that works, but when Dr. Wily modified him for combat, that all changed because, you know, you're not going to psychically fool a robot. Instead, he was able to confuse his opponents by fooling their sensors with his holograms. His weakness is the magic card, and the thing that I like about this, even though it takes off less damage than a fully charged Mega Buster shot, is that it will stop him from doing an attack temporarily, but it won't completely break him out of his pattern. Therefore, you can just continue on and bust him up as we just did there. Mega would have to use the Ice Wall to cross this bed of spikes. Base does not have to use the Ice Wall to cross this bed of spikes. That works for me. Dynamo Man was a tour guide at a power plant for school kids taking field trips there. He was originally a friendly fellow, but that all changed once King got his hands on him and forced him to install a power generator inside of his body. Once it was activated, the generator emitted such intense electrical energy that nobody could get around Dynamo Man anymore. As a result, he became isolated and turned into the bitter bot we all know and loathe. We're about to see the attack that Dynamo Man didn't get to pull off the first time around with this arch of 5 orbs that'll surround you. For Base, I find this attack very hard to avoid, especially if the orbs on the sides move first, because, to be quite honest, Base can't get under those like Mega Man can with his slide. Instead, you're stuck kind of being in the middle until it's time to dodge. Obviously, using the copy vision will let you get around this, but if you're going Buster only, that can be one of the toughest moves in the game to avoid, if you ask me, at least from a Robot Master. Pirate Man lives up to his name because he was created with the sole purpose of destroying and looting cargo ships at sea. He is a ruthless, cold, cruel, well, jerk. He's not on the best of terms with Dive Man, and I bet Splash Woman wouldn't like him either. He's weak to the Wave Burner, and the one thing about this that I didn't get to mention the first time around is if you can hit him with the flames in this fight when the tide's low enough, it will actually do 4 bars of damage instead of 3. Climbing section, huh? Well, that probably means the camera isn't going to cooperate, and sure enough, if I didn't know that mine was there, I probably would have jumped right into it. Just kind of a shame that the Game Boy Advance screen just can't handle things like that, making things a little more difficult. But once we get done blasting these penguins and Joes up, we are going to be ready for our next boss. Yep. And that would be Burner Man. He was originally created for destroying natural environments. That includes deforestation, which is why his stage takes place inside of a jungle. King tricked him into thinking that he had a bomb planted inside of him. And in fact, if Burner Man did not destroy a forest today, the bomb would blow up. That is kind of cruel. mean, think about it. King himself said in the last video that he didn't want to see any of his species harmed. Yet here he is doing cruel things to both Dynamo and Burner Man. And come to think of it, when he referenced that line, he said it about Proto Man. You know, the same Proto Man he hacked in 2 in the very first video of this series. King, you're not winning any brownie points here for honesty, you know. Anyway, we gotta let CC roll clear the path for us. So I might as well mention that during the base run, Burner Man himself was actually the hardest one for me because I didn't know about the ice wall trick at the time. Just goes to show you what a difference a playthrough makes, and just how much easier guys can be once you study their attack patterns. Honestly, my biggest problem when fighting Burner Man was the Wave Burner attack where he jumps and throws the snap traps down. Had I known how to get around it at the time, I'm sure that would have been an easier battle. Magic Man is a magician, obviously, that practices his tricks a little too much. The thing is, though, nobody really cares for him. Guy does them at the worst possible moments. That's literally it for his description, and that's literally it for his fight. For those that watched the Mega Man run, you know that there are 2 fake floors at the top of this room. Because Base can get a lot of height out of his dash double jump, we're not going to worry about him. Groundman is the only robot master to be created by King himself. He was designed for ruin excavation, but sometimes goes a little bit overboard because he won't stop digging unless he's specifically told to. He's also a bit of a collector and will sometimes keep the materials that he finds in the ruins for himself instead of giving them to his boss. It's just the way he works. He's kind of an unsociable person. Well, robot, that is. And outside of that, he takes a long time to beat because I didn't think this fight would only be halfway over here. I don't really mind fighting this guy, though, because he's mostly easy, especially with his weakness. The only thing you have to watch out for is if he decides to go into tank form instead of burrowing into the ground. The final subsection consists of these small platforms guarded by both Potems and Wall-Techs. Were called Wall-Tekus back when I started this project, all the way back in mid-March. Just goes to show you what a difference a few months makes. Luckily for us, Joe is still named Joe. Too bad for Joe, though, that, well, he's still a Joe. Tango Man was created by Dr. Wily to occupy a mountainous region in Japan, most likely to scare the locals since he's modeled after a Japanese demon bird named Tengu. After his defeat in Mega Man 8, he joined up with King's army to try and get some revenge, but instead all he's going to get are 5 drills to the face. Tough luck for you, pal. After we ground this bird with one last drill, that ends the Robot Master Refight retrospective, but we still have one last piece of business to take care of. Well, Base, looks like we get to face the final battle. Nice little father-son showdown here. The Wily machine, while unnumbered, fights very much like the one from Mega Man 8. It has a few extra attacks like the missiles, and the cannons on the bottom near the wheel will shoot their balls out in 3 different directions. There's also one other attack that this thing does that's different from the Mega Man fight, and that's instead of sliding under back and forth like Mega Man does, you have to jump over it at the last second as it charges you at the wall. I recommend dash double jumping to get over it. Once you get past that, it's on to the Wily capsule. We hit it with one shot with the Base Buster, so now we're going to actually switch it to the weakness weapon, the magic card, because this is a much better choice. Obviously with Base you can reach Wily in just about any part of the room, and the weakness weapon here does 3 bars of damage as opposed to Base's 2 with the Buster. Honestly, I find this fight to be pretty darn hard to avoid taking damage in. In fact, I'd say this is the hardest Wily capsule to do a no damage run in. That said, the one in Mega Man 7 is still the hardest to get through without losing a life. The reason for that is this one doesn't do as much damage with its attacks, and with the super armor on, it does even less. Whereas the one in Mega Man 7 can really rack up the damage quickly. In any case, we've just about got this one done, so you know what, Wily? I got some news for you, pal. You lose again. I win. Get to begging, pal. Before we get on to the end here, I want to talk about a couple of things real quickly. If you're wondering which story is the actual one in this game, the answer would be it's both. Mega and Base form an uneasy alliance, go through the game, beat King, and then beat Wily. Mega Man leaves Wily for Base, finds out the King's still kicking, and Base gets the ending that you're seeing here now. The other thing real quick is that if you're wondering which version of the game I enjoy, if you didn't watch the Mega Man finale, it's not the Game Boy Advance version. And it's because of two specific reasons. Obviously, when the game was ported over to the Game Boy Advance, the screen size was shrunk down. That meant that anytime there was vertical scrolling, it was a real challenge to get through. And moreover than that, I just do not like the double tap dash in any form or fashion. I really wish it would have been made down and jump, since there's no mid-air dash or anything like there are for the Extreme games that were made a couple of years prior to this. Outside of that, that's pretty much the end of the Mega Man and Base series at long last. It was a fun project to do in terms of gameplay, but man, was it time consuming when it came down to sit and edit these videos all together. No matter which part of the playthrough it was, whether it was Mega and the bonuses, Base and the audio, or the CD footage for getting the video clips and audio files edited down to the exact frame, it was just a case of me underestimating how hard this would be every step of the way. So yeah, it was a fun but challenging project, but I'll be honest, without the help of a few people along the way, I don't think I would have enjoyed this project anywhere near as much as I did. So let me get to the shoutouts right now, and first up, I want to thank Rome Mithril for his Mega Man and Pink Kitty Rose for her base runs, respectively, of this series. They gave me some ideas along the way on how to get past certain scenarios and dodge attacks such as the Wave Burner and Lightning Bolt effectively, because I had no idea how to do that going in. So for that, and just, yeah, thank you so much. The next person I want to thank is Dash Troxon, who helped me on the commentary side of things before this project even got underway. I tend to stutter and stammer quite a bit when I'm talking, and she was able to provide me with ways to get around that and not worry as much about what I'm saying and just make sure it gets out. Surprisingly, the more the project went along, it became less about commentary being an issue and just audio editing in general, making sure I wasn't spiking the mic too much. So yeah, thank you. And last but not least, I want to make sure that I thank two users from NeoGAF. Naoshi first for just providing some light-hearted humor along the way when things were getting kind of stressful, and Shala, who was there to make sure that when it was time to actually get down to work, to just make sure I did it, because there were times when I was getting ready to burn out. Her advice along the way really proved to be invaluable, and for that I am just so grateful. I'm not trying to overstate it, but yeah, she was a real big help. So again, thank you so much. And you know what, I better extend my thanks to you guys and gals out there for watching this too. It's because of you that I keep on doing these playthroughs. And this particular playthrough was Mega Man and Base, as a part of my own tribute to the Blue Bombers' 25th anniversary. I had a lot of fun, but we are done. Yep,